I'm David Schloss at the 2016 Photokina trade show. I'm in the X-Rite booth. I'm talking to Andre. Andre, I've taught photography before, and every time I teach a class, people are so confused about color management, why they want to do it, how they want to do it. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of color management for the photographer?
Yeah, hi. So basically it's actually quite important because every camera is different, every monitor is different. So it's basically technical equipment which actually ages with time as well. So what color check charts or calibration can actually give you is you can get consistent color, consistent results from input from camera capture up through to editing through to final result.
And I don't think people understand how simple it actually is. So can we talk a little bit about just what the process would be to get consistent color in a sort of a nutshell?
Sure. It's actually very, very important. So very simple. So basically what you need to do to calibrate a camera, you just take a shot of the color checker passport here. It comes with a plugin for Lightroom, so you install the plugin, you bring that photo, you create a color profile, so it's all automatic, and then basically you use that color profile to edit the rest of the images.
And so, you know, a photographer can use it at the beginning of a shoot, and then as they switch lighting and switch conditions, they should take another shot with the passport again.
Exactly. It's that easy. So it's basically every time you change the lighting, you change the the studio setup. Or if you go outdoors, you just take another reference shot.
And this is what I hear from people all the time. I just bought my Mac, and the color looks good on my Mac. I don't need to. Why would I need to calibrate my monitor? And also, the other thing I hear is, I just calibrated my monitor, and now nothing looks right. I go to print, and it looks wrong. So, can we talk a little bit about why that is?
Yeah. So basically, as you said, especially with Macs, they're really, really bright. So the biggest problem with Mac monitors, they're really bright and they're really shiny. So first of all, camera calibration, screen calibration will help you to calibrate your brightness. So you will bring the brightness to a certain level, so your images actually match your print afterwards. And then once you've done that, the software which comes with the calibrators will actually run through the colors, through the reference colors, will compare them to the standard color and actually create a profile for your monitor.
And can we talk about room color and lighting? Because then people get a calibrator, they calibrate their monitor, but then they use, sunlight and they have no blinds on the window.
Yeah, so that's very important as well. So we don't recommend actually editing your images in front of like a window or something, or also don't wear any bright colors or any sort of just wear neutral clothes. If you can, just try and it's best to use the neutral colors on the walls as well. So in your editing environment.
Right. So when you've got, can we talk about the color calibration? So what does the process look like?
Yeah. So basically the screen calibrate. It's what you do. You install the software. You put that on the screen just like that. I will show you that in a second in more detail, and you just run through the software. It's pretty much automatic. You just tell the software what to do, and it will do that for you.
And how often should you recalibrate your monitor? Especially, you've got a high-end display, maybe the 5K iMac, maybe a third-party monitor that comes factory calibrated. How often do you have to do this?
So we recommend to calibrate every 3 to 4 weeks. So that's the normal. I know some people would calibrate every day. Well, it's not necessary. But if you calibrate every 3 to 4 weeks, you will not see any shift in color, even after a couple of years, because the monitor will age after time. But you'll.
And then for matching to print output, let's talk about what the process of doing that looks like for the photographer too. That's where I think it breaks down, because they'll calibrate their screen, they won't use a profile for the printer, and then it doesn't match, and they just turn off color management.
Yeah, so if I show you another product, so basically that's the Color Monkey Photo here. So it will calibrate your screen as well as it will calibrate your printer. So using the single device, you can actually match your screen to your prints. It also comes with the a color checker mini chart here, and you can also calibrate your camera.
So start to finish, I've got a new Mac, I've got a printer. What's my time suck going to be to get better looking, images?
So you're looking at, to calibrate a monitor, looking about 5-10 minutes. To calibrate a printer, maybe half an hour, because you need to wait for the paper to actually, to dry, for the ink to dry.
What I think is interesting is people spend $6,000-7,000 on a camera, and they'll spend $3,000 on a lens, and then they don't calibrate, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
Exactly, yeah. So, and then when you try to, if you don't use any color management, you would end up actually wasting money on your paper, because you would try to match, do some adjustments, print out, oh, it's not looking great, you just basically throw the paper right. So you waste the ink, you waste the money, you waste the time as well.
I've watched a lot of tutorials that will show you how to make a layer in Photoshop to adjust the color to match the output, when you could just do it from scratch.
Exactly. Or you can just calibrate and just forget about all those issues.
Okay, so let's talk about video. There's more photographers these days doing still plus motion.
Yep.
There aren't really as many standards for doing color management of video, but then they have to deliver maybe a wedding, and they have to deliver the video, and the dress in the video has to look like the wedding dress in the pictures. So how does somebody calibrate for video work?
Right, so for video work, we've actually introduced 2 new products aimed at video. So it's basically the Color Checker Passport Video and Color Checker Video, so it's a larger version of this chart. So basically what you do, especially if you have a multicam setup, which is also the case during video, you can match every camera, but just by shooting the color chart here for exposure and for color. So basically it has your reference for your waveform monitors. It's got the primary colors, so you can work with vectorscopes, for example. You've got the extended skin tone and extended grayscale, as well as the deep black. And you can also, you can also shoot the focusing chart as well. You can do your white balance in camera. You can check your exposure. You can check your color, and then, so basically use that to shoot a pre-roll about 10 seconds on each camera, and then in the software, Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, you can actually work with the reference to do the final grade.
So let's say that I need to calibrate both screen and print, and then I also have to calibrate video. Price-wise, for a photographer looking to pick up some of the equipment, do you have a ballpark for how much you're spending?
Right, so basically it's a bit more expensive to actually calibrate a monitor with a printer, because you would need a different device here. It's a spectrophotometer. If you only working on if you need to calibrate just the monitor and your camera, you would be looking at least at the i1 Display Pro here. It's around 210 euros. Then the color checker charts for video, you're looking at about 140 euros. But also, actually, last week at IBC in Amsterdam, we launched a new bundle for video, which is called i1 Filmmaker, and it gives you a little bit of saving. And at Photokina today, we're also doing a special pricing for the bundle, so you can get the 2 here. So yeah, it's i1 Filmmaker. So it's great solution for filmmakers. And
that's great. And for somebody looking for more information, what is the best way for them to find out about X-Rite's products and then the bundles that were announced at IBC?
Yeah, so basically you can go on xritephoto.com, or you can actually follow us on Facebook. So it's X-Rite Photo Video, and basically all the news will be there.
That's great, Andre. Thanks so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Live at the Photokina trade show, I'm David Schloss.